Hey everybody, welcome back to Jimmy's Promo, and today we're just going to be talking about the small things, but sometimes the small things matter most and have the largest impact. So the small things we're talking about today is just a few features that you might not have known about, and it's the tiny things. It's not the big glamorous features that you purchase a phone for, but again, it's the small things that matter. This first one is talking about the toggling of the flashlight. So you might be walking around your house or a tent, maybe a baby is sleeping, a spouse is sleeping. You don't need it to be that bright. Most of you are just toggling that little toggle and that is it. You forget that there's actually a word below it called flashlight that you can actually change the brightness level. So for example, you don't need it to be this bright. You still have to cover a lot of ground. Maybe level 3 is perfect. Or you're in a smaller tent or somebody's right next to you. You don't want to open or wake them up. You'd be able to go down to level 1. So again, you can have level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I usually toggle between 1, 3, 5 just to get the exact level that we're looking for. I'm going to keep it on 1, and I keep it there by default because if I need it brighter, then I can change it. But if there's somebody right next to me and I don't want to disturb, I'm going to keep it at level 1. Next up is going to be inside of the camera. So there's one of these pet peeves that I have where people take a photo, especially with the front facing camera, but everything is just backwards and reverse. So let's say that I want to take a picture. I'm just going to take a picture right there, and you're going to see it right here. This is what it came up as. Now everything is backwards, even though if it was a selfie and it was just me, maybe it would look great. But if there's words or anything in the image that could look backwards, it's going to look backwards. So what you're able to do is go inside of your settings. You're going to scroll down where it says pictures as previewed and turn this off. Now by default, it's turned on. I don't know why. I feel like that's one thing that Samsung can change. So now when I go through, I take the picture. Now what's going to pop up is it's going to look the regular way. Everything is readable and you're still going to look great. If you have a selfie, but it just happens to have a word or something behind you that's in the scene, you want it to look the way it's supposed to look and not be reversed. The next small thing that I feel that matters the most is going to be putting that display brightness right here. So it's one of those first things that I do when I first get the phone. Even though it is there when you pull it down twice, sometimes you don't want to pull it down, you just have to adjust it really quick and then you're done. So how you're able to get this done is when you pull it down twice, you want to click on those 3 little dots, click on that quick panel layout, show the brightness on the top, and then you are done. Now, even if you do have that adaptive brightness turned on, it will be adaptive to whatever light situation you're in, but it's still gonna help by having this little light bar here because you might need to change the brightness no matter where you're at and any situation. Especially when I shoot YouTube videos, I bring it down a little bit so it's not gonna be so bright on the camera lens. The fourth small feature that I love is going to be adaptive power saving. So when I pull this down twice, you might notice that my power mode is actually turned on. Now, when you go inside of here, you can go between high performance, optimized, medium, or maximum power saving. Now, mine is actually by default on optimized. But what I have turned on is this one right here, which is what we're talking about as the fourth, which is adaptive power saving. It's able to set the power mode automatically based on the usage patterns to save power when it's not needed. This won't change the screen resolution or anything like that. So at the moments where I'm actually using my phone a little bit more, if I'm watching a lot of YouTube, if I'm playing games, if it knows that I'm busier during that point in the day, it'll switch it back into optimized. But then when it knows that I'm just shooting videos, it's gonna put it inside of medium power saving because it doesn't really need to have everything going at its full capacity. So again, make sure you go inside of your power modes right here, and you're gonna turn on this option down here called adaptive power saving. Next up is going to be cursor control. So this is where if you're typing something out and if you mistyped something right over there, that's an 8. It's supposed to be I. If you try to go through, you might have bigger fat fingers. You might be trying to get it exactly where it wants to be. But then sometimes you tap it, twice in the same spot. This pops up. Then this little blue thing pops up. You're able to move it. Well, from the get-go, without having to do any type of typing or trying to tap where you want it to go, just press and hold on the cursor. Then you're able to swipe that little blue dot over, put it right where it needs to be. Then this is where you can go through and make the correction. So we'll be going back inside the camera for feature number 6, and this will be inside of video. Now, if you're recording with the rear-facing cameras, even though they already have video stabilization, you have this little icon right there that's called Super Steady. Now, this is a pretty major feature that I think to be in the phone, but because it's so simple to get to, again, it's the small things. Sometimes this little icon tap where you're able to take a very steady shot. Some people have a little bit of shaky hands. This is that small little thing that's going to make an amazing video. So for anybody who wants to make their videos just a little bit more smooth, or maybe you're running at this moment trying to get that perfect soccer goal shot, then you can turn on super steady, hit record, bam, and you're off to the races. Feature number 7 is one of those that, it just makes me love the Samsung phones, and one of those is going to be Smart Select. So Smart Select is built right inside of your Edge panel, so make sure you turn on Edge panels. One of them is actually called Smart Select. It'll be there by default, but one of the nice things is you can choose this option here called Rectangle. But they also have a smart feature right here for Smart Crop. So it's going to choose what it thinks is, the important portion of the screen, and it's able to take a picture. Even if this is not it, you can just move this right over here. And let's say that we actually wanted this entire card. So we're going to go with something like this. Now, when you go through and you hit on done, there's a couple different things you can do. You can extract the text, or you can download the image. But the other great thing about this is, let's say that this is the portion of the screen you wanted to send with your friend, just hit the share button. And then once it shares it and you're done, go on through, just hit back a couple times and you're done. The thing I love about Smart Select with that feature there of sharing whatever you see on your screen is that it doesn't have to be saved in your gallery. So a lot of times when you go through and you take a screenshot, you're just flooding your entire gallery with all these screenshots that you don't really need. You only needed it the one time to share it. So that is the great thing about Smart Select. Again, it's the small things in life. Next up for me, at least, is going to be able to unlock your phone with 2 fingerprints. Now, the thing about 2 fingerprints is that they're actually saved on the same profile. So that profile that I use for my right and my left thumb is actually just called Jimmy. So it's a way that you don't have to have so many different scans for your phone to go through. It has a smaller amount of scans to read through, which gives you a faster unlock. So how you're able to get this done is, let's say we go inside of biometrics and security, then we're gonna go inside of fingerprints, and you can see here that only 1 fingerprint has been added. Again, you saw me unlock it with 2, but once we go inside of here, I'm gonna type in my credentials. Once you're inside, you can see that there's only 1 fingerprint set up. So how you're able to get this done is, let's say you wanna go to add fingerprint, you just hit on OK. This is where you wanna go through and just use both thumbs, but you wanna make sure that you hold your phone the way that you always hold it, and I also rotate it. So I usually go right, right, left, left. Then I kind of give it a rotate, because you never really know exactly how you will be holding your phone. It also wants to try to get the scans of pretty much every single area of your thumbprint. I also always go upside down, because you might be sliding your phone to somebody, or somebody might be using it right in front of you and you needed to unlock it, maybe it timed out. So then bam, now you're able to get it unlocked if it's facing the other way. So now that we've finished that one out just by going up to 100%, you can go to add, you can also hit on done. So I am done with this one. If this one was actually being done by the spouse, you just put in the spouse name, not specifically spouse, hopefully their name. So this way you have 2 different profiles. You're not gonna have Jimmy right thumb, Jimmy left thumb, spouse left thumb, spouse right thumb. You have so many different scans for it to go through. This is just a way that you have 2 profiles with 4 thumbs set up, but it's able to go through all the scans super quick. The next small feature that is very impactful will be inside of your gallery, and when you try to go through and you want to crop this down to maybe something that goes on, Instagram or Twitter, or maybe a thumbnail, what you're able to do is, instead of going through and editing, just simply zoom in. Put it exactly where you want it to go, and then you have this icon that just popped up. So again, if I zoom out, it's not there. When I zoom in, it's gonna be right there on the very top left-hand side. You tap that icon, and then now you have that one saved. And you're gonna actually have the original and then your new image. So you have this image, and you also have that one. Now for the very last one, we're gonna stay inside of the gallery here. I'm gonna go over into albums. And one of the things that you're able to do that is also new, that is a part of Samsung One UI 2.1, is actually having folders that is inside of folders. So you have all these folders here, and you might want to combine them. Originally, you weren't really able to. So look at this, I have wallpapers, wallpapers. Technically, these are also wallpapers. So what you're able to do is you can press and hold, and then you just do a drag and drop. And then I'm gonna call this one wallpapers. Once you have your album group titled, I'm gonna go to create. And so again, you can see that there's actually 2 images right there. That just means that there's 2 folders inside of my wallpapers folder. So I'm gonna take the Snapseed, I'm gonna bring it inside of there. And I'm also gonna do Reddit. I'm gonna drop it inside of there. Now, once you've merged all these albums together, when you go inside of your wallpapers album, you're gonna see all 4 artworks sitting inside of there. So you know that there's a lot more going on than just this one album here. So there is your 2 images from UltraPix, 3 from Snapseed, 3 from Reddit, and then 15 other wallpapers that you have saved from before, all sitting in an organized album. But I hope you guys have liked this video. If you guys did, please give this thing a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Subscribe right over here on the very bottom left-hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.